What Poilievre just proposed shocked everyone. This could change everything. When Pierre Poilievre unexpectedly called me, it felt like a moment of raw authenticity in an otherwise scripted political landscape. This wasn't just another media stunt or a rehearsed campaign plug. It was a genuine conversation that caught me off guard. There was no one else on the line, just his voice, reaching out to express gratitude for my honest coverage of politics. At a time when many of us in the West feel increasingly disillusioned with Ottawa's interpretation of unity, something shifted in that brief exchange. It wasn't merely what he said that took me aback. It was the sincerity and earnestness in his tone. He was honest, grounded, and truly listening to the concerns that have been simmering in Alberta. It felt refreshingly different from the usual political discourse. I've expressed my views before. The current federal system is failing Alberta. After the 2025 snap election, which saw Mark Carney ascend to the prime ministership, the disparity in influence between the West and the rest of Canada became glaringly evident. Despite a strong turnout for the Conservative Party, our voices, our needs, and our industries remain sidelined in a way that many of us find deeply frustrating. This systemic imbalance manifests in various forms, from the unfair representation in the Senate to federal policies that undermine Alberta's economic vitality. This frustration has been building for years, and for many, it has erupted into a chorus of calls for Alberta to chart its own course. I'll be upfront. I've supported the idea of Alberta independence, not as a whimsical fantasy, but as a legitimate response to pressing issues that affect our daily lives. When you're consistently ignored by the federal government, the idea of seeking an exit becomes increasingly appealing. We've seen energy projects blocked, agricultural policies dictated by people who have never set foot on a canola field, and laws designed for urban centers imposed on rural Alberta. This disconnect becomes exhausting over time. Yet, when someone like Poilievre reaches out, not to win me over but to genuinely ask what's gone wrong and how to fix it, I felt compelled to listen. That's what this conversation was about. During our discussion, we delved into the Conservative campaign's past mistakes. I pointed out how grassroots media outlets like mine were overlooked in the previous election cycle. To his credit, Pierre didn't shy away from this critique. He candidly acknowledged that his team played it too safe and missed a vital opportunity to connect with real voters through alternative platforms. Such honesty is a rarity in politics. Instead of deflecting criticism, he embraced it. It's not often that politicians admit they've failed to listen, and even fewer would take the time to call someone who has publicly pointed out their shortcomings. We also confronted the looming question that has been hanging in the air for years. Can Canada truly be reformed from within? I shared what many Albertans are feeling, that our patience is worn thin. Many of us are skeptical about the possibility of meaningful national reform anymore. To his credit, Pierre didn't push back against this sentiment. He didn't recite the usual slogans about working together or national unity. Instead, he recognized the anger and disappointment prevalent among people in Alberta. He acknowledged the growing sentiment of independence, not out of hatred for Canada, but from a profound love for Alberta and a desire to reclaim control over our future. One reason Pierre is currently back in the spotlight is the by-election in Battle River, Crowfoot. Damien Correc stepped aside to pave the way for Poilievre, who is now vying to re-enter Parliament from one of Alberta's most conservative ridings. This move is politically strategic, but it has also sparked skepticism among locals who fear they might be used as a stepping stone for Poilievre's ambitions. I voiced these concerns to him, and he didn't dismiss them. He promised to be present, visible, and accountable, committing to engage with the community not just during the campaign, but once elected. He assured me he wouldn't be there to coast. He was there to serve. He made it clear that this campaign wouldn't rely on polished TV ads or scripted talking points. Instead, he aims to reconnect with his roots, engaging directly with people, taking questions, and addressing issues often overlooked by mainstream media. For years, voters in the West have longed for a leader who doesn't just put on a friendly face for the cameras, but actually shows up in the trenches, at town halls, and along back roads. According to him, that's the approach he wants to take now. He emphasized the importance of authenticity in political discourse, something that resonates deeply with many who feel marginalized. Importantly, for those curious, this conversation wasn't bought or influenced by money. No financial transactions took place. No political party has ever compensated me. There's a lot of chatter about influencers being paid off by political campaigns, but I'll state it clearly. I've never received a dime, and if offered, I would refuse. This platform is about fostering honest conversation, nothing more. My support or criticism is rooted in principle, not profit. What struck me most during our conversation was Pierre's openness to being challenged. He didn't come to pitch a narrative. He came to hear what people are actually saying on the ground. He expressed interest in coming on my show, not for a fluff interview, but to be held accountable. That approach is rare in politics. Many are yearning for leaders who don't dodge tough questions, but instead confront them head-on, showing a willingness to engage in meaningful dialogue. I remain committed to Alberta's future, whether it leads to full independence or a rebalanced federation. But I'm also realistic about our options. If separation isn't feasible, we need serious leadership willing to advocate for the West within the existing system. Right now, Pierre Poilievre stands out as the only national leader actively engaging with voices like ours. That doesn't make him flawless, but it certainly makes him different in a political landscape often characterized by evasiveness and detachment. While the by-election date hasn't been set yet, it's anticipated to occur sometime in August. I'll be covering it every step of the way, not just focusing on speeches and slogans, but on real stories from real Albertans. Whether you support independence or believe in reforming from within, this moment carries significant weight. It transcends a single riding. It's about whether leaders will step up to lead or merely pretend to. Poilievre's call wasn't about scoring political points. It was about initiating a dialogue. In a time when most politicians avoid direct contact unless there's a camera present, that alone is noteworthy. Regardless of your stance on him, it's hard to ignore that when a federal leader breaks away from the script to make a personal call, something is changing. If he follows through on his promises, this could be more significant than any one campaign. It could mark the beginning of a genuine political shift, one driven by honesty, accountability, and a sincere commitment to listening to the concerns of constituents.